Hey everyone, this is going to be another fairly short video. I just want to reference another point in regards to voting in the October elections. In particular, those of us who are supporting the PPC. I'm already seeing out there on the social media landscape a lot of people that are showing a lot of concern. Well, one aspect of it, and I already covered in another past video, in regards to the fact they're constantly putting this message about splitting the vote. Like I said in that video, and I'll say it again in this one, I was never going to vote for any of the establishment parties. I'm one of those Canadians, one of those large percentage of the Canadian population, what is it, 30+% of them, millions of us, that don't show up to vote for any of the established political parties. And why that is, because yeah, we don't believe in picking the lesser of evils, or picking people who want to rule over us, or those who don't even represent our values or the principles that we stand for. I mean, my vote is never up for grabs for any of these people. Like I say, not the Conservatives, not the Liberals, not the NDippers. None of these parties have my vote. They've never had my vote, and they're never going to have it going forward. The only reason why I'm even stepping up to vote in October is because Maxime Bernier formed the PPC, and I actually have a genuine choice to support and vote for a party that stands firmly on principles and the kind of values that I hold dear. So once again, folks, there is no splitting of the vote. There's new votes. And because we already recognize that, like I said, out of that 30+% of Canadians that don't normally vote, that represents, I think, anywhere between 7 to 10 million dependent, right? So you're talking already, just that portion alone, and because it is in the 30+ percentile, I mean, think about even just to get a majority government in Canada has been done with what, 38, 39%? So the non-voters almost represent just as much of a base as those who choose to vote. So stop trying to bully or push us around, because I tell you, we represent a large force. And the more you keep trying to pressure us into supporting your political overlord, Trudeau Light, aka Scheer, the more you're actually turning us against them. People like myself, we don't fall for that kind of pressure tactics. Not to mention, I'm already educated, enlightened, and informed enough that none of the political talking points you use will even work against me. So really, like I say, two things. You're wasting your time, and you're actually being very counterproductive for your own endeavors, for your own goals. But anyways, in addition to that, I wanted to point out in this video that we don't even need to win. People say, oh, Maxime, the PPC, they don't stand a chance. There's no way. Look, oh, Burnaby only got 11%, or it was only, what, 2 or 3% in Ultramont, or in, Simcoe, the by-elections, right? Listen, 11% or even 2 or 3%, that is enough to play spoilers. Just pay attention to the election that happened in New Brunswick recently with the People's Alliance Party, one of these brand new parties just like the PPC. And yeah, they didn't win the election in New Brunswick, but as you know how that turned out was the Liberals got, what, 21 seats? The Conservatives got 22 seats. But because you need 25 seats to form government in the legislature, well, they needed 3 more seats. Guess who had those 3 seats? Yeah, the People's Alliance Party. Which means that the People's Alliance Party, even though they didn't win a majority, they actually won only 3 seats, right? So a much smaller percentage of the vote than the Conservatives or the Liberals. But the People's Alliance actually gets to play the role of kingmaker. They get to decide and determine what kind of legislation gets passed, because if they choose not to support it, it doesn't happen. So same thing I want to see in the federal elections come October. I actually would prefer for the PPC to win, and I hope that does happen, but I really don't believe that Canadians are informed or enlightened enough to get on board with actually standing on principle or doing the right thing. I don't think enough of them are quite willing to do that yet. A lot of them still rely on big government for their income and their paychecks, so they're not going to shoot themselves in their proverbial foot to stand on principle. Not when it affects their bottom line. Like I say, I do understand human psychology and human incentives, which is why I have no false belief or pretense that the PPC is a shoo-in to win in October. That probably isn't going to be the case. Like I say, I'm always holding out and hoping, because these things can happen. The potential is there. It can become a reality if enough people make it so. But even if not, like I say, all we have to do is get enough people to support the PPC that can deny both the Conservatives and the Liberals their ability to gain majority government. No matter who wins, whether it's the Conservatives or the Liberals. As long as they're both kept in minority government status, well, they're going to need someone else to join up with them if they want to pass any bills. And like I say, that's where the PPC, that's where our voice can actually start resonating and affecting real policy in this country. So when you hear people out there saying, hey, don't support the PPC, you're splitting the vote, well, look to my other video in regards to splitting the vote to help educate and inform them regarding that aspect. Or if they're talking about, oh, you just have no chance of winning, hey, use this video to help explain them that, yeah, we don't have to win to play a key and vital role in both social and economic policy going forward in this country. And like I say, liberty is definitely rising in Canada, so this could be at least our first major step on that road, on that path to individual liberty. And all great journeys start with the first step. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.